Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings upon all of you. Right now it is it is after Fajr. It is before dawn, and I've made the first salah. Salah is the prayer that we make 5 times a day. And honestly, I prefer not to use prayer as a translation for salah, because you can pray anytime. You can pray in any moment. You can talk to Allah any moment in your life. While you're driving a car, you can connect by speaking, by asking, by praising, by even complaining. And when I say complaining, meaning if you're going through a difficulty or you're going through a hardship and you're saying, oh Allah, this is so difficult on me. I'm dealing with such and such with my husband, or I'm dealing with such and such with my friend, or I'm dealing with such and such with my children, or this is happening with my parents, or this is going on with school, or this is going on with my boss. Whatever the case may be, Allah wants us to talk to Him. Allah wants us to turn to Him. People get tired of hearing what you're going through if it's not something that benefits them, if it's not something that just generally people don't really long to hear for all of your problems, all of your difficulties. But Allah wants us to turn to Him before anyone else. If there's a problem in your life that you need to solve, then Allah wants you to turn to Him. And the time that is the third of the night, which has passed, is one of the most sacred times to do that. For those who are seekers, for those who feel that something is missing inside, for those who want to connect to the divine, to Allah, to the one who created all. For those who are seeking that, for those who want that, for those who are curious about that, the time that is the third of the night, when most are asleep, that is when the veil is thinner. That is when Allah asks, who is seeking forgiveness so that I will forgive? Who is asking for something so that I can give to that person? And so Allah wants us again to ask, wants us to turn towards Him. And this is not, we think in terms sometimes of people, those of us who are not familiar with the names and the attributes and the qualities of Allah, we often start to make this comparison that is similar to people, when in fact Allah is not like the people. He's not like us. So these anthropomorphic qualities of ego, that is not befitting of Allah. That is not what Allah has. And so this connection that He wants us to establish is for us. It's not for Him. It's for us. Think of someone that you love, that you care about, and you want to help them. When you say, call me up if you need anything, come by my house. You know someone is hungry, for example. There are some people, they may know an individual who their finances are not that they're just not that good at that time. They're straitened. They're going through difficulty, and they may say, "Oh, come over and have some dinner with me." You see people do that with college students who are on a budget. They'll say, oh, come over, call me, stop by, whatever the case may be. Why is that? Because they know they have something that will benefit that person. So they say, connect with me, talk to me, let me know that you're going through something, so that they will then benefit that person out of caring, ideally, out of love. And sometimes we feel that in our hearts for people. We love them. We don't know why exactly. We could break it down and say, oh, they're so kind, or they're so intelligent, or they're so affectionate, or they're attractive, or it's a combination. But ultimately, that feeling that we have in our hearts, sometimes it's just placed there. And sometimes you don't want anything from that person. It's just simply you feel that love and you want to give to them and you want them to be happy. So if we can understand this within a human context, and Allah is far beyond the human context, but just to understand that Allah, who's all powerful, who has created this entire universe, who's created the sun that we cannot even look at without squinting, this creator, Allah, wants us to turn to him, to talk to him, to ask of him, to tell him our fears, to tell him our concerns, to tell him our struggles, so that he can then give us peace, so that he can guide us, so that he can give to us. That's the purpose. And so there are things that keep us from that. Too much focus on people, too much focus on worldly life, too much food, eating too much can block you from that openness and that clarity. Too much movement, too much, what would I say? When I say too much movement, meaning the busyness of the cities, the busyness of people going to work and then going here and then going there, and then after this go to a club, and then after this, this type of movement sometimes prevents people from going into a space where they can even think to connect. Filling our minds too much with movies, too much with other people's drama. It's not even real drama that is actually happening, but this pretend drama. This drama that's being acted out, these passions that are being acted out, these conflicts that are being acted out, all of these different things that are being acted out. And they start to permeate your consciousness and your subconsciousness, where you start to feel like you know these people. Even music, the highs and lows of music, the way that it makes you soar, or the way that it makes you cry, the way that it plays with your emotions and your feelings. At times, if it's not reminding you of a higher purpose, then it's tapping you into a lower vibration. Mostly calling people to worshiping other people. I can't live if living is without you. What would I do without you? Oh, it's like life is not worth living without you. I mean, how many songs have there been where it's all about the other person? It's worshiping another person. It's worshiping the idea of love with another person. And love is beautiful and it's powerful. But the highest love is the one where people remind each other of their higher purpose. And when even that which is lower in vibration, whether it's the food that is shared, or the intimacy that is shared, or the sex that is shared, all of these things are elevated to something beautiful, to something nourishing, to something that is truly enriching. So everything in our life can be a tool can be a means to something higher if we have that higher perspective in focus. So sometimes we need a time to eliminate. We need that hour in the day where you're not plugging your ears up with earbuds, listening to song, where your ears are not plugged up listening to someone else's advice or motivation. A time where you're away and can go within, and when you go within, then you can connect to the one that created us all and that wants good for us all and has given guidance to us all. But it just starts with making that first step. Make that first step. If you haven't done it in a while, get up a little bit, go to bed early, get up a little earlier, and when all is quiet and when the sun is barely peeking over the horizon, reach out. More and more I feel that with all of my shortcomings, with all of my challenges, spiritual challenges, that I will always have them. You know, this life it has tests, and sometimes our inclinations and our wants are tests. But with that, I want to share. With that, I want to put out some good to balance out all that is in this world that is drawing us to the opposite. So peace and blessings and guidance to all of you. Life is such a blessing. Life is so good and life is beautiful. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.